So 49% of all households in Lubbock are rental properties. Did y'all know that? 49% are rental properties. So as investors, how do we, just think for a second, how do we take advantage of that? Because there's a huge opportunity when you think about that number. That's a huge statistic. 49% of the homes are rental properties, okay? So we're going to kind of unpack that tonight and see if there's an opportunity for us to take advantage of it with owner financing, okay? So what we're going to cover tonight is owner financing or seller financing, rent to own. It's got a lot of different names to it. And we need to define those names because it'll make a difference in how you guys do this and if you should do this. Then we're going to talk about the whys and the hows to do it, all right? So let's get into the definitions first. About a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, we were talking about seller financing. And then the words, seller financing, owner financing are, for the most part, interchangeable. But for the purposes tonight, we're gonna define seller financing is when you go to an individual that wants to sell their house, okay, and you as the investor want to buy it from them. All right, so they're going to carry the mortgage for you, and there's all kinds of strategies that we talked about before that you can own these houses with them being the mortgagor or mortgagee. Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is owner financing. All right, and that is basically where you already own the property and you're going to sell it to somebody and carry the note yourself. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about. But there's another term. Who's heard of another term that might fit in, that gets confused? What would be another term for an owner or seller financing that you've seen advertised? Lease purchase. Yes, correct. There's rent to own, there's lease to own, lease purchase, right? That's one of the ones that you're talking about. A lease option is another term. How many of you have done a rent-to-own scenario or a lease option? Okay. All right. Very good. So if you don't know really what a lease option is you put up, or the borrower, actually the buyer of your house, is going to give you an option fee to purchase that house at a later date. And they're going to make payments. And eventually they will own that house, all right? Part of the payments get applied each month. So that's kind of an option, lease option. It's also known for like a contract for deed. How many have heard the term contract for deed? Could you explain it, or would you have an idea of how to explain it?
No lawyer.
Okay, all right.
But it used to be a term that people used a lot, but there are parts of it that are illegal now, right?
Yes. In Texas, it is, and that's what we're going to kind of get into, because there's a lot of people that are doing this, and lease options are actually illegal as well, and that's one of the reasons we're going to be talking about this tonight. So a contract for deed is you're going to sell your house on a real estate contract, basically. And instead of filing the deed, what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to the deed, or it's going to be held with an escrow company. All right? And then that person's going to make payments to you. And as they make payments to you, then that's going to basically, principal, interest payments, all that's eventually going to get it paid off. All right? The problem is the deed's not filed, okay? And if the deed's not filed, then technically who owns the house still? The seller, right? That's where the problem lies, because there was a lot of individuals that were taken advantage of, and so they decided, you know what, we're not going to do this, because what would happen is They would, pay for 15 years, 10 years, and then they would say, you know what, I want to sell my house. I want to get all my money because you're never going to buy this house. You're taking way too long. So the individual has basically rented the home, and now they can't take it, they don't really own it. So that created a lot of problems, a lot of lawsuits. So they decided, you know what, in Texas, we're not going to do that because too many people were being taken advantage of. And I'm glad they stopped doing that. So, it's just not allowed. And the lease option is the same thing. If you're using an option fee, they were taking advantage of people by doing that too. They would have them put up, $5,000, $10,000 as an option, knowing full well these individuals could not make the payments or qualify. All they were interested in was keeping the non-refundable option fee. Again, they never filed the deed, and then they would sell the property out from underneath these people. So it was, or they couldn't make the payment, they'd take the property back, and they'd just keep getting option fees. So these things are not allowed. So if you are currently in a situation where you have done rent to own or lease option or contract for deed, these types of, come see me afterwards, all right? Because I'll show you what you can do to kind of help yourself, because you don't want to get in trouble with these. They made a very stiff penalty if you do this the wrong way, all right? So let's talk about the stiff penalty. So what the stiff penalty is 3 times the damages, okay? So let's think about that for a second. So let's say you've got a, $120,000 home. You've done a lease option or you've done a rent to own, and they're paying you $1,000 a month. All right. So that's $4,800 a year, roughly $5,000 a year. I'm sorry, it's $48,000 because they're paying you $12,000 a year, right? So if you do that for 5 years, it's $48,000. All right. So if you get caught doing this and they end up suing you, it's 3 times $48,000. That's the damages. That's worth more than the house. All right. They don't want you doing those in Texas. Okay. There's other states that they don't want you doing it either. So the reason I want to tell you guys this is because there's a lot of information out there that is not correct. Okay. I'll just be upfront with you guys. I'm going to be transparent. I built a course, okay, for owner finance to do it the right way, okay? So I'm going to present it to you guys. If you guys think you're going to do owner finance, I highly recommend that you buy it, okay? I highly recommend that you buy the course. It's not expensive. It's not, okay? If you're not going to do owner finance, totally fine. It doesn't bother me. But I'm going to get it out front. At the end, I'm going to show you the course, and there'll be a discount for the RIA members, okay? So let's talk about rentals right now. The other reason, if you do owner finance the wrong way, okay, you can get in trouble as well. Just to be upfront. So we show you in the course how to do it the right way. And it's not hard. I promise you it's not hard. But it's the things that you don't know that can get you in trouble, right? And so we're going to try to help you with some of that information tonight. But let's talk about rentals versus owner finance. How many of you have rental property? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a few of you, all right? How many of you just absolutely 100% love owner finance? Rental properties. Love it? Okay. Okay, y'all don't count for this yet. I'm coming back to y'all. What do you guys love about it?
I love the work. I love the people that rent it for me. I have great people.
Excellent.
I just love it.
Okay. All right. What else? Why do you like it?
It's been a very successful people give it to mine.
Excellent. Yeah, it is. It is, for sure. All right. Does any of you over here love it? You love it?
Yeah.
What do you love about it?
I love that I can live in another city and still have a business here.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And it's a great, it's a get rich slow plan, I call it.
Yeah.
So,
That's,
you know,
that's a
you
great
gotta see
definition.
it. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. So
Yeah.
it's starting to pay off. I'm starting to see the benefit of, you know, getting up at 2 in the morning and going and changing out a water heater.
That's right.
He
That's
does do
right.
his own maintenance.
And I don't do my own maintenance anymore.
Oh, you don't? Well, that helps too then. Yeah, that helps a lot. So how many are in the, I like it. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, all right. And how many of you just absolutely, positively hate it? Like just, I don't like rental property. Or is there anybody in here that hates it, that used to have rental property? You, okay. Why did you hate it? What was bad?
Well, it's the repair, always making repairs.
Okay.
I had to always choose between my house and the rental properties.
Yeah.
And we owned, we own property in California, so
Okay.
it was very expensive.
Yeah.
He would work all the time, and then he'd have to come home and fix something.
Go have to fix something. Yeah.
And then, I mean, sometimes I have good tenants, sometimes I didn't. Some of the tenants I had just, Section 8. No, my Section 8 was actually very good. I had a good Section 8. It was this other one. We had a trailer on our property, and they just were like, couldn't get them out there fast enough.
I understand. I've been there for sure.
And like you said, it's slow.
It is slow.
It was slow. I mean, you're waiting for the rents to kind of catch up with the payment, and then your equity, your house. I mean, I had a property I had for 20 years, so it was pretty good. I couldn't rent it well at that point, but it took a long time to get there.
Right.
And then the other thing was, and then the market. You don't know what the market's going to
Market
do.
shifted.
What happened to COVID? I don't know. I mean, I don't know who got paid and who didn't get paid, but they didn't have to pay if they didn't want to.
Yeah. Especially, I think in California,
California, yes.
they were.
Because tenant law is very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to, they want to pay, they didn't pay.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that in California. So I'm glad I live in Texas, even though Lubbock's ugly, but it's a good state for if you're going to do rental property. It really is. So is renting a property, is it still a good strategy? That's what we gotta unpack here. So we talked about some of these things, but what can go wrong in a rental property? Tell me some things.
Stripper pole in the garage. That was a good one.
Yeah, that may top them all right there.
Actually, a swimming pool in the garage. That was interesting.
A swimming pool.
Yeah, they put a swimming pool in the garage. That was good. And then probably one of the best ones recently, I've got a lot of stories, but probably the best one is my tenant called, said I drove through the garage, but not just the garage door. Like in the garage and then out and just the other house. And then they had their renter's insurance had lapsed.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any auto insurance. Stupid. But
Anybody else?
We survived.
You made it.
Yeah.
Anybody
we made
else?
it through that one.
Well, I'll bet you've never had a naked meth head in your attic that fell through. But in her defense, she wasn't technically my tenant. She was a squatter while the tenant wasn't there, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a pretty good expense because she tore up quite a few things.
Yeah. If you've had rental property, you kind of can relate to some of this, right? So what are some of the pros? Because it's not all bad, right?
No.
We already talked about it, and we'll look at some of the pros and some of the costs to this. But let's look at some of the pros for rental property. All right. First of all, you get depreciation off of your taxes. That's a huge benefit, right? I think that is a great benefit for rental property. The second thing is it's going to appreciate, right? every payment that's made, you're going to build equity, right? You're going to increase your net worth with every single payment that's made. So that's a great thing, right? And over time, the value's going to go up. Hopefully, I know this last year, couple of years, it's been down just a little bit, but that's temporary. It'll go back up. It always does. And then it produces some cash flow, all right? So it's not all bad to have rental property. It's really not. It's just, I feel like you definitely need to have rental property. So I still feel like it's a good strategy. It's just not going to be my primary strategy, all right? Because of a few things that we're going to talk about. So let's talk through some of these that you guys have mentioned, but there are cash flow killers in rental properties, all right? There's maintenance costs. You will have maintenance costs if you own the house long enough. You know, just maintaining it. You know, even when somebody moves out, you've got yard work. You've got, you know, you may have to service something here or there. You're going to have repairs. You know, that's going to happen. Tenants just have a tendency to tear up the property. I don't get this, and some of y'all can relate, but why is it that they have to punch holes in the walls? I mean, it's like, it happens more times than you realize, and it's like, why? I don't get it, but it happens a lot. Cash flow killer, vacancies. You know, if that tenant moves out, it's going to take you a little time, so that's going to take some of your cash flow away because you're still making your payments, right? Unless you own it free and clear, obviously. Things we don't have control over either are property taxes. You know, you own a property, and I may get in trouble for saying this, but I don't understand why you pay tax on a burger, you pay tax on a product that you buy. Why in the world are we paying taxes every single year on something we've already purchased, right? It drives me crazy. So Florida's getting it right. I hope Texas is going to do the same thing. If they do, that's a huge benefit for us, right? So we need to push that out to our legislators and try to get them to get that changed. Insurance, you know, insurance, hailstorms, we're getting hit hard lately. Those are all things that affect your cash flow. So these are what I call the rental cash flow killers. So let's look at a typical deal here, all right? So let's say you have a $150,000 house, all right? And this $150,000 house, let's say you use the 1% roll, $1,500 a month is what you're gonna rent it out for, okay? And your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, okay, is $1,300 a month. So what's our cash flow? $200, someone say that, $200 a month, right? Is that good cash flow? Who would take that deal?
Depends on where the house is, actually.
Okay. Tell me more about that. What do you mean?
I would lose money. Or break even, I would say that deal.
Okay.
To know that I will own that property in a great neighborhood
Okay.
someday.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep it forever. Never
So
sell
the
it.
appreciation play. Yeah. Okay. So $200 a month is going to give you what? $2,400 a year. And so let's say they're in the house, first year, $2,400. They're going to stay in this house for 2 years. So it's rented for 2 years, no problems, $4,800. Everybody in agreement there? Okay. So they move out, and we're just going to do a basic make-ready. Now, anybody brand new to investing? Okay. So a make-ready, can anybody tell me what a make-ready is that's experienced? What's a make-ready?
Getting ready for the next tenant.
Yes. Yeah, just getting it ready, whatever needs to be done to get it rentable again, right? So, a lot of this can be done by yourself, okay, as your own, manager, all right? If you're going to scale and you're going to do a lot, you're probably going to have things hired. Or you're gonna get tired, you don't wanna do it yourself, right? And you'll end up having it hired out. But let's say it just needs a new paint job, okay? Say it's 1,500 square feet and, it's about $2,600 to paint it. And you got a professional cleaner goes in there for $400 and then they clean the house. But you have about 1 month vacancy. Well, when you add all that up, that's a total of $5,700, okay? So your cash flow now is $225, all right? So for 2 years, you made about $9 a month, maybe close to $10 a month, all right? So that's not what I liked to see, right? That bothered me. And again, I'm not against rental properties, all right? I'm really not. I'm against the promise of great cash flow from rental properties, all right? Because there's different strategies out there. So let's look at another scenario here, okay? This is somebody that comes in, like y'all are talking about, with the stripper pole and the, tearing up the house, Still the same story. You still got $4,800, but this time they've kind of torn up the house, all right? They've done some damage. Has anybody ever had to do a full make ready before?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What all did you have to do for that make ready?
After I dug the trash out this deep.
Ooh.
Order?
Yeah, well, just probably meth or whatever.
Yeah.
Full-on carpet, plumbing, lighting, everything, doors, holes in the
Holes in the
doors. If I can't bother the door, you gotta replace the door,
Right.
Full on.
Okay. So what I'm going to show you here is probably typical. If it's not, then I think it is. But so let's say again the same paint job, but this time you need new flooring. All right. You had to patch some holes. You had vacancy this time for 2 months because it took a little bit longer, right? So your costs are going up, and then you had the person come clean the house. So your total now is $13,475 for this make ready, and is that pretty? If you do full maker, are the numbers okay there?
Yeah.
You're going to do some. You can do some of it yourself and cut the cost down. All right. I just don't like doing that work, so that's what it would cost more than likely me for that to happen. So your cash flow now is negative $8,675 for 2 years. All right. Do you know how many months of income that took from you? Over 40 months of income. Almost about 3.5 years of income that's gone. All right. So that is what bothered me. Okay, that's why I wanted to start looking for a different strategy. All right, I still have rental property. Okay, I still have rental property, but I want to convert. I'm trying to convert them all. All right, because this kind of stuff is not fun to deal with when you have to do make readies and you have to. It's just not. So I was kind of trying to find a better way to do this and still have good cash flow every month, all right? So one of the things I didn't talk about is in that 2-year period, is there any maintenance or any repairs that have to be done more than likely in a 2-year period? Yeah, you're gonna get calls. Maybe it's repair the HVAC, maybe it's repair a toilet. Maybe they don't take care of the pipes and they freeze. You got clogged drains, you got disposal jams. These are all small little things, most of them, okay? But you add that onto that $8,000 loss, okay? It's more than $8,000, or it's more than the $220 you made in the 2 years, okay? You also have to deal with property tax increases that you have no control over. And then, obviously, insurance premiums that increase. So all these things are affecting cash flow. So like I said, that is something that just was bothering me. And when you were talking about it's a slow game, it is a slow game. It's a slow game. It's a great game, but it is a slow, because eventually, you know, the house may be paid off over time, right? And there's a huge benefit to that. So I'm not knocking it all, okay? I'm saying if you want to build cash flow each month and have income coming in, then maybe there's a better way, all right? So why owner financing? Why is that a great thing? At least I think it is. When you have a large pool of investors, borrowers, sorry. Your borrowers, okay, guess who they are? They're the people renting. 49% of Lubbock are renters that would love to own their own home. Okay? That's the market. It's huge. It's huge. We could all do owner finance and we would still have plenty of business out there for all of us. Okay? The reason they can't get into a home is because it's difficult. All right? When they passed all these Dodd-Frank laws, you know, have y'all heard of Dodd-Frank? It makes it real difficult. Who's bought a house in the last 5 years? Okay? Would you agree with this? It's easier to go buy a $100,000 vehicle than it is to buy a $50,000 home.
Yeah, our last house was down there.
Yeah.
For a personal home, believe it.
For a personal home, yes.
It's easier to buy rental property.
Yeah, rental's fine, yeah.
Yeah, the personal home was,
Personal.
and Western Finance did a great job of it, man. We thought Tammy was gonna jump off the cliff.
Yeah. It's just
It
difficult.
was unbelievable.
Yeah, and the reason that is, and I get it, but the reason it's difficult is because probably just bad borrowers, okay? The truth is bad borrowers. And what they do with these mortgages, they package them up. They package them up and they sell them, all right? The mortgage-backed securities. So the people buying them from mortgage companies, if everything's not perfect, they're not going to buy them. So the mortgage company has to keep that on their books. And when you keep mortgages on your books, it eats up all your capital. Because when you're doing $300,000, $500,000, $1 million loan, it's going to eat into your lines of credit, all right? Because they want to sell them as soon as they can package them up and get them off their books to free up more money so they can do more. So everything's got to be perfect, all right? So that's why it's really difficult for most of these buyers, all right? Because they're not going to qualify. There's too many things, too many hoops. The other reason I like owner finance is because it gets rid of 90% of the headaches. All right, you're not going to be called in the middle of the night. You're not, you know, it's just not going to happen because they own the property. They own it. All right, they're going to get the deed to the property. So all of those headaches are gone instantly. All right, you're not going to have to get up and do repairs. All right, and here's how many people do flipping in here? How many people flip houses? Okay, flipping. Okay. I'm telling you, this is a great strategy for flipping because you can sell these properties to these buyers at the top of the market, okay? And you'll put some money in your pocket and then you get cash flow from it, all right? You don't get 100% of that if you sold it, but why not let that asset that you work so hard to get and to maybe fix up give you cash flow every single month? You see the benefit there? It's not a one and done strategy. Then you got to go find another one and do it again. Why not keep cash flow coming in off of those flips? Okay? So let's look at an owner finance cash flow. This is kind of pretty standard. So most of you guys in here buy property at discounts, right? I mean, that's what we teach in here is buy these properties at discounts. So let's say we've got a property here that we bought for $85,000. We had a repair budget of $20,000. And the total project cost is $105,000. You're in this property for $105,000, okay? So The sales price is $150,000. You're going to sell that property for $150,000 to someone that can't qualify. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about not qualifying. Everybody that wants to do owner finance, do you think they're all terrible, awful people? Do you think maybe they just had a little hiccup here and there? Maybe they got a divorce. Maybe their credit's shot, but they have great income. Okay. Maybe it's self-employed. How long does it take? Does anybody know how long does it take if you start a new business? How long does it take before you can qualify with an 800 credit score, with great income, go to a mortgage company? How long will it take before, if you're self-employed, brand new, how long will it take for you to be able to qualify to own a house?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years, okay? They can't qualify. They will not give them a loan, all right? In their eyes, they're too risky. So it's an opportunity for us to be able to provide them a home that you know they're going to make the payments, okay? Now, you may have somebody that has, horrible credit, okay? Great income. Would you do a loan to them? What do you think? You would? Okay. How many would do a loan to them?
What's the down payment?
There's variables, right? Variables, okay? Yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, how many of you would, somebody that is a really good person, nice, they've got really bad credit, and they really don't have the best income either, would you do that loan? Would you loan or finance to somebody? How many would? How many would own or finance that to that person? Okay. I probably would not. I would stay away from that. Okay. Now, if they gave me 70% down, 50% down, okay, maybe things change at that point, right? Maybe they can afford it now. Maybe their income reaches that level. All right. So there's different variables, but for the most part, we try to stay away from, bad credit, bad income. You kind of have to because of some of the regulations out there too. All right. You cannot put somebody in a predatory loan, and so we're going to show you guys in the course how to. It's easy. It's so easy, and we'll show you guys how to do that. But you need to understand, it's those things you don't know. Well, I just thought he could pay for it. Well, okay, you thought wrong. You're in trouble, right? They're not going to say, oh, your ignorance, we're not going to take advantage of it. So, but it's easy to fix that. But anyways, there's different reasons why people need owner financing. A lot of the people that have done owner financing too, they're great people. They just want a chance. They just want an opportunity, and they have the income. The majority of them, their credit's just below what they can get qualified for. They're good people, and it's kind of rewarding too when someone has always been a renter. They always want to own. They don't want to stay renters the rest of their life. If someone will just give them a chance, so that's kind of rewarding in it. So let's look at these cash flows here. So let's say they put a down payment of $10,000, okay, and the cash flow on this is $360 a month. How many maintenance issues are you going to have to deal with? Zero. Okay? Because they own it. They may call you. I've had them call me and say, hey, my blah, blah, blah needs to be fixed. I'm like, you're not a renter. You're an owner. So you got to fix it yourself. Oh, okay. I still, to this day, have a wonderful lady. She's never misses a payment. I mean, she is so good. But on her checks every month, she writes the word rent. That's what they're used to, right? That's what they're used to. I think they have a harder time realizing, man, I'm actually a homeowner, So they kind of have a little bit different mindset. So your yearly income in this scenario is $4,320, okay? So your first year income is actually $4,320 plus $10,000. You know where I got the $10,000? Down payment, right? You get to pocket that. That goes directly into your pocket, which is fantastic, right? That is phenomenal. Guess what happens when, well, I'll get there. Let's talk about the cash flow woes, okay? Owner finance cash flow woes. Is that even possible with this? Well, unfortunately it is. All right, one, you can't capture the depreciation, right? So that's what you're kind of trading off. That's why I want you to still have rentals, because you need that, all right? But you're not going to be able to capture the depreciation on your taxes. What happens if you have to foreclose? Has anybody in the room ever foreclosed on something? Okay. Would you know how to do it in Texas? It's not hard. It's really not. But that's going to happen if you do enough owner finance. You're going to have to foreclose on somebody. So that's what we teach in the course is what do you do? You know, how do you maneuver this? And again, it's really not hard. And what we also teach you how, if you do foreclose, you can actually make more money on the deal. Okay, if you have it structured the right way. All right, what happens if you have a make ready? Well, let's say it's a full make ready. What did that cost us? How much was it? $14,000. Okay. What did we get? What did we get on the cash flow?
Yeah.
14,000. Okay. Yeah. What if it's a small makeover? You know, you're still cash flow. You're still making money, right? Is what I'm trying to say. You get a huge cushion because of the down payment, right? Why do we want people to put a down payment? Why is that important? Besides, it's nice having that in your pocket. Hey,
They don't want to lose it.
they don't want to lose it. Exactly. That's right. That's right. That's why banks, when you go to a bank, they make you put 20% down. Okay? Because you got skin in the game. So, you know, I've had some people that I've talked to say, well, what if I just make them only give you, $1,000 down? You can do that. You can do that. But you're putting your loan at risk if you do that, because they're like, well, I'll walk away from $1,000. But I'm probably not going to walk away from $10,000. Okay? So there's a couple of different reasons why you want to do that. And then you're not going to have any equity being built. You know, if you've owned them for a long time, you'll have some equity in there, which is nice to have. Again, that's why you really want to do both. Now, on the equity piece, if you have to foreclose or do something else, a lot of times we show you how to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and that works really nice. Okay, and so you will instantly get that equity back. You know, it becomes yours again. All right. So at that point, you can sell it, you can turn around and do it again. You know, do another owner finance. Right. So the woes, in my opinion, are not as bad as the woes with rentals, and that's why I'm kind of trying to shift most of mine over, but still have rental property. Okay. So we built something that's kind of cool here. This is a rental versus owner finance calculator. And on your tables there, we're going to give you guys this calculator for free. And if y'all want to follow along, we're going to kind of pull this up and kind of show you how a little bit of a comparison. But we're going to use y'all's numbers for this.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
If you still own the property, is it illegal to do a owner finance?
If you still owe?
On it?
Oh,
Yeah, if you still have a mortgage on
no,
it. You cannot do that.
you can't.
Interesting.
Because I contacted a lawyer to do this because we were wanting to do a owner finance
Mhm.
thing. And she said, I'm not doing it for you. If you owe that property, you still owe the bank. I said, I do.
Okay.
She said, that's illegal.
No, it's not illegal. But we're going to address that here in a minute. It's a great question, okay? But yes, you absolutely can, okay?
And we did one, actually we did two prior to that, and we still owe the bank. And we used a lawyer to go through.
Yeah, that's
To do
good.
all the paperwork and do the deed and everything.
Good, that's what we teach you. Definitely need a lawyer.
Actually, I contacted her like late last year, and she told me it's illegal. So
It's not illegal.
okay.
It's not.
Okay.
No. I mean,
Well, she actually told me, I won't do it for you.
and I'll tell you why here in a minute, okay? I'll tell you why that is. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you. We'll cover it here in a minute. But the reason she's concerned is because who's heard of due on sale? Due on sale, right? Due on sale clause are in all loan documents by the bank, okay? So when you do a transfer of ownership, like owner finance, okay, the bank is going to find out. And if you haven't gotten permission from the bank to do this, okay, owner finance, then they will call the note due. They can, okay? It's very unlikely that they will, but they can call the note due, all right? So then immediately you will have to pay off the bank, immediately, okay? Or they're going to foreclose. So guess what happens? You've got somebody that you've done an owner finance with, okay? They own the house, all right? The bank's upset at you, and they're foreclosing on you, okay? Because I know what she's talking about. It's probably a wrap note, wrapping around the first lien, okay? You get foreclosed on, guess who else gets foreclosed on? Guess who loses the house? They do. All right? So if you don't set it up the right way, it's going to create a problem. All right? Isn't she awesome? So that's why she's not going to do that for you, okay? Because of that fear of that happening, and then that the end buyer ends up suing you because they lost their house and they've been paying on time, but you lost the house for them, okay? And so in that scenario, penalties are pretty stiff, okay? The penalties are pretty stiff. So there's ways that we fix that, all right? There's ways that we fix. Do you see why you need to have information before you do this, okay? This is stuff that you don't even know why, right? And so that's what we try to show you in the course is let's do this the right way. Let's make sure it's done the right way, and it's easy. And then it's set up on autopilot. It just comes in, okay? So that's a great question. So let's look at this. Okay, so let's say who's got a rental property that would share with us some of the numbers? Anybody be willing to do that? Just one you've had. Okay. What would be the monthly rent?
$14.50.
Oh, you're making a shade. You're doing it. I was like, what's happening? It's bouncing. Thank you. $14.50? Okay. Okay. And then, what is your monthly mortgage payment?
No, on that property, nothing.
You don't have one? Okay. Okay. We'll go and run
Do you
it.
want one? Do you want one with a mortgage on it?
If you could.
Oh, okay.
And it can be a rough estimate.
Yeah, she knows the numbers.
Okay. She just doesn't want to speak.
Yeah.
$14.50. Yes.
$14.50.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's still $14.50. We're good. All right. And then what's the more? Is it PITI?
Is that escrow or no? Okay.
Okay.
So
What's
no, that would
just
be
the payment then?
What's it? $933.
$933.
So I
Okay.
keep her around.
Okay. That's good. All right. Do you know what the monthly taxes are?
It's not what?
2,000 a year? 300, maybe.
300
a month.
300 a month. Okay.
Roughly.
And insurance?
Oh, man. $225 a month.
$225.
Mhm.
Okay. Are we cash flowing?
It feels like I am.
Okay. All right. So it's not managed, is it? Because you're managing it, right? Okay. So we're not going to calculate, vacancy or maintenance on this one. Okay. So that's usually, management fees are about 10%. So if you did have a manager, you'd really be in the negative there. Okay.
Yeah.
So in an owner finance scenario, what sales price would it be worth? What could you sell it for?
I think that property probably $165.
Okay. So, all right. And what kind of down payment would you want out of that?
I've never done that before. I would think we can shoot 10,000.
Okay.
Shoot that up there.
We usually say 10%. Anywhere 5 to 10%, depending on the price of the home. I mean, 10%
I've never
is
done that,
good,
so I have no
but
clue.
you got to keep in mind some of these people may not have a ton of cash, and you've also got closing costs that they have to come up with as well. So keep that in mind on your down payment. All right. All right. Well, let's say you can get 12% interest, which you can, and right now you can get 12%. You can actually get, I think it's right now it's like 12 and 3/4, 12 and a half. Something like that. I can't remember exactly but we'll talk about that here in a minute. All right. And so in years, you're gonna do it for 30 years. Okay, that's what we usually recommend. All right. 30 years. Okay. So what is your underlying balance on that house that you had what we talked about before? What was it?
You mean what's left on the mortgage?
Mhm.
Where are we on that? 45,000.
45,000. Okay. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. So you can go to a negative $8 a month, or you could cash flow on that thing $11.31 with no maintenance, nothing. Okay,
Significant
that's a huge difference, right? Okay, it's huge. So we're going to give you guys the calculator. Y'all take it home and play with it. It's kind of cool because you can use your own numbers to figure out. Because you may cash flow better on a rental. If you don't, own a lot or just still. We've done calculation after calculation on this, and I'm yet to find one that doesn't. Some are close, but this kind of shows you, the benefit. If you're looking for cash flow. Okay. Any questions on that? Does anybody have? Make sense? Okay. All right. So here's the benefits, guys, on owner financing. You'll get probably a minimum of $10,000 on each deal. That can actually be decided by you guys. You can go 5,000. You can do 7,000. You can do 10%. You can do 5%. Whatever you want to do. There's no regulation on that at all. So whatever you want to collect from them to get skin in the game, you can do that. You're going to collect $200 to $400 per month on every deal. Okay, you just will. You don't need a lot of capital to do this. Okay, in fact, you don't even need any money. All right, there's ways that we can show you. You don't even need your own capital to do this. This is a great strategy for retirement. Does anybody have a self-directed IRA? Okay. This is great because you get big chunks that you put in there, okay? And then also it cash flows every single month. So it's going to grow tax deferred over time. And that's going to compound. It's fantastic. You can do that with some of your properties. And the house doesn't need to be paid off. You can actually do the strategy without the house being paid off, which is a fantastic thing, right? Because everybody thinks you have to own it free and clear in order to do owner finance, and you don't. So here's the how. So you find a house that needs repair, which you guys are already doing. Some of the ways that we tell you to do this is through wholesalers, okay? You want to find a good wholesaler because you can get the properties quick, right? You still need to run your numbers, but you definitely want to find some good wholesalers. Are there any wholesalers in the room today? Any wholesalers? You kind of are, aren't you? Yeah, all right. Usually we've got more wholesalers here, but you want to buy from a wholesaler. It's a good way to find a property to do this with. You can use some of your rental properties. If you already own property, I mean, look at the cash flow if you want to convert that. And that is an easy thing to do because they don't want to rent anymore. They want to own. So you're their hero. You go in there and just say, hey, would you ever want to own this house? Say, well, I might be willing to carry the note for you so you don't have to go to the bank, but I need to get some information. And so we show you how to underwrite that and make sure that, you know, you're doing it the right way. But because you don't just want to do it to anybody, and you can't because there's certain regulations that you need to do it the right way. You can find a seasoned realtor. How many realtors are in here? Now, here in some of y'all are all realtors created equal. No, okay? So you want to find somebody who, you know, realtors have different niches, right? They have different things that they do. But you want to find somebody who actually works with investment property. They're already going to have an understanding of, maybe they have some investment property themselves. But you want to make sure they understand the game and know what you're looking for, all right? Because some realtors, they're just retail. They don't really know investing. They're going to just try to find you a house, and they're not going to understand the numbers, and you're going to have to teach them. You really don't want to deal with someone like that. And then you can use the 70% rule. We talk about this all the time. How many people have heard of the 70% rule? Okay. Most everybody? No? Okay. What we teach in here is to make an offer on a property that you want to buy, you use the 70% rule. All right. You take the retail value, which you run comps, you have a realtor do this, take 70% of that, all right? From that number there, you subtract the rehab amount. Whatever that is, that's your offer price. That's what you should pay for the house. That is one of the safest, best ways to buy property for rentals, for flips, for owner finance. It's just the safest way, okay? Another way that, we also have a calculator it's not the one that I've showed you, that's in the course that will calculate that for you. It'll tell you the different structures that we teach, how to set it up. But you can buy them a little bit better than the 70, because it's hard to find 70% rule homes, right? If you can, it's a home run. But there's a way that using this calculator, you can actually get you can pay a little bit more for the house and be just fine, okay? The other thing, who uses PropStream? Anybody use PropStream? Okay. So, anybody, who's heard of PropStream? Okay, so a lot of people have. So you kind of know what it is. But basically, PropStream is a software that wholesalers use. And there's a lot of different softwares out there that do the same thing, okay? PropStream will help you find discounted property. You pull it next to a property, GPS, it'll pick it up, it'll put it up there, it'll help skip trace, tell some of the benefits that you've seen with PropStream.
Absolutely, you can find deals that no one else is finding. It's sort of your criteria as owners who own a property for a while might want to sell, whatever else. It's a really great tool to get you directly in contact with people who might want to sell. You see the deals that aren't on the market on Facebook or anywhere else.
Yeah, you just drove up to it, maybe, or you run a list. They have lists that you can, buy and find these homes, but, it may be a home that's in probate, right? It may be pre-foreclosure, they owe property tax. What are some other things that you've found on PropStream that help you find deals? Other than those few things right there? Those are the primary ones, right? Yeah.
Tired landlords is phenomenal.
Tired landlords, yeah. So this software also runs comps for you. So that's good. I always trust a realtor more than PropStream, but I think it's still a great, a great tool to know, what some of the homes have sold for. So how would you compare? So, you're a realtor too. How would you compare running the comps here as opposed to running the comps with a realtor?
It varies depending on the area.
Yeah,
In areas where you don't have a lot of population density, it is really far off. Going to a small town like Shallowater, for example, where you don't have neighborhoods that are as publicly available where the separation is, I wouldn't run it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something like Park Lubbock or the middle of town, it's pretty darn well accurate. It's 95% accurate.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of population density.
yeah. So if you want to find your own deals, you know, they have this software. This is a free trial, you can do it, and I think it's what, $100 a month or something like that.
I have a couple hundred.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't personally like to go find, you can get way better deals than from a wholesaler because the wholesaler's getting their cut, right? But I want to find properties quicker. And so get with a whole bunch of wholesalers, and they're going to find you the properties, and they're going to, you know, they need to make a living too. So it's okay that you're not getting as good a discount, but you can get them faster. And I also don't want to knock on the door and have somebody tell me, get out of here. You're the 20th person that has contacted me. So I don't, someone going through foreclosure, you know, they can get a little nasty. So that's just not my thing that I like to do. So here's the steps. Use OPM to purchase the property, all right? Does anybody not know what OPM is? Has everybody heard of OPM? Okay. All right, other people's money. So banks, hard money, you know, people that you know that have CDs, you know, that's a good deal that their money's making, you know, was up to 5%, but that's not the norm. It's, anybody have CDs right now, and what are they paying?
Down before
About 4. Yeah. I mean, you could get them 6, 8, 9% and still make money using the strategy. Okay. You can list the property. You want to list it at the top of the market. All right. It's very important that you do that because and you can even go above the appraised value of that home a little bit. Okay. You don't want to make them too upside down. You know, be considerate. But there's no rule that says you can't list a house that's worth $100,000 for $1 million if they're going to pay it. Okay. It's your house. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules against that. I just don't recommend it. You can use a wrap note, which we kind of talked briefly about. Wrap notes sound scary and sound confusing, but every attorney knows how to do a wrap note. Okay. The problem with wrap notes is you can run into the due on sale clause that we just talked about. So we came up with a different structure, all right, where we don't have to deal with the due on sale. Okay. And then the other thing is you can also use our capital if you decide to do, you know, buy the course, coaching, that kind of stuff. You can use our capital to buy these properties as well as to do the owner finance behind it. Okay, so you don't have to have your own money. If you have a little bit of money that you can put down on some things, it'll help. But you can literally, the first owner finance deal I did, I had zero money in the deal. Zero. I didn't put any of my own money, okay? And they're still cash flowing today. I've had one, I had no money in the deal, okay? I was gonna have to foreclose on them. They kind of ran into some financial problems. So I talked with them, I said, here's the deal, I'll take it back and not foreclose on you. But just make sure that the house is completely spotless, okay? And I won't foreclose on you. It was spotless. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, they just kept it clean, and they were apologetic. They were nice because I was nice to them. So I went ahead and did it again, and I still didn't have any money in the deal. And I actually raised the price of the house because they had been in there a couple of years. So that, you know, there's the appreciation kind of helped me a little bit. So, all right. Any questions over anything that we've covered with owner finance? Yes, sir.
Formally, they will do the 70, would you mind on
The rehab.
the rehab?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So 70% of the retail value. So you want to run comps in the area, and you want to find out what is the top of the market for this home. take 70%, multiply it by 0.7, and subtract the rehab. Okay, that'll give you what you should pay for that house. Okay, that make sense? Okay. All right. Any other questions? What other questions do we have for?
How do you get the percentage that you got the total? Is that something that, I mean, that you chose to? Or?
Yeah, we'll show you how, you know, to charge what you can charge, because there is a limit depending on, you know, how it's set up. If you go over that, then, you know, and it fluctuates. It'll change, okay? It'll change, but there's an easy way that we keep up with it. Easy, no-brainer way, okay? Right now, it's probably max is about 12.5%, okay? So, to be safe, to be on the safe side, you could probably go a little higher, but we go just under what the max is, okay? So, in the course, this is what we talked about, all right? One, we kind of talked about this already, how to find discounted properties. We're going to really push, you know, you guys to get with wholesalers, to use the software to find the properties, okay? Maximum offer, you know, we'll show you how to get that. We already told you the 70% rule. That works fantastic on everything. The calculator does it as well. How to structure the deal to avoid the due on sale clause. All right, there's a couple of different structures that we can teach where you don't have to worry about the due on sale. And you can also not worry about the due on sale and still do a wrap. But again, that's something that is just part of it. Underwriting is important. Okay, you want to underwrite these individuals because you don't want them in a loan that's going to be predatory. All right, they have to be able to afford the loan. All right, you want them. This game is not about taking the down payment. It's not. If that's what you guys are going to do, and you don't care about the individual, then I would ask you don't even buy the course. Okay, because that's not what we should be doing. That's not even morally right. Okay, the goal is to build cash flow. Right? If you had 20 houses giving you $300 a month, okay, that you don't have to worry about and deal with as much, then that's the goal. That's the game, right? That's what banks do. Banks are all about the spread. That's how banks make money, and it works, okay? So you guys get to become the bank and help people that can't get into a house traditionally, and they're so thankful. I'm telling you. We teach you how to deal with the foreclosure, how to handle that. There's legal disclosures that you have to give out, okay? Easy way to handle that. Not a big deal, but you've got to make sure they're going out. There's maximum you can charge in interest, and then we show you how to just set it up. That once it's set up, okay, unless you have to foreclose or something like that, once it's set up, and the foreclosure rate is really low. I mean, it's really low. But once it's set up, you're going to get paid every single month on autopilot, okay, without having to be a collection agency, without having all that mess. All right, we get you set up with a loan servicing company to do that, okay? And the servicing companies take care of everything. They watch for taxes. They watch. I mean, they take care of everything for you. So we get you set up with them. All right. So here's the big reveal. What does it cost? Right? Here's the big reveal. $997 is what it costs. Okay. So showed you're going to make probably $10,000 on the deal, right? I mean, you can do it. I promise you, I do it. It's easy. It's not hard. Okay, you just have to do it the right way. This is a self-taught portion. All right, it's go at your own pace. You get 2 free coaching sessions with me. All right, 45 videos. These videos are short. I made them short for a reason. They're like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. Okay, because I want you to get through them really quick. I want you to learn the information. Right? Are they short?
They're short.
Okay, all right, good. Easy to follow?
Very easy.
Okay, excellent. I didn't even know he was going to be here, but talk to him. So thank you for that. Who knows how to write closing instructions to a title company? If you're the lender. Anybody ever done that? Those are the things that that we have templates for to show you to make it easy, okay? But you're gonna have to learn, you're gonna have to know how to do that, because they're gonna ask for, what are your closing instructions? You're the lender. And you're gonna go, what? What? Okay? It's the ag knows, it's the things that you don't know what you don't know that are gonna create a problem, and is creating a problem for a lot of people that are doing owner finance. They're not doing it the right way, okay?
Another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would that also work if you do sell by owner? If I have a home sell by owner, could you use that closing template? to
You
close?
would use it, yes. Because you're selling the house.
The company had told us they could help us do the forms.
Yeah, you can, that's a good point. Your title companies will help you. We're gonna get you in touch with people that just have the knowledge already, all right? They're gonna be able to do all this for you to make it easy, so you're not having to do it all yourself. It's a good point, okay? And once you do it once, you're like, oh, it's easy. You know, we do closing instructions, Joe and I, all the time on the loans that we do. So it's not hard. In fact, we have a template that we use, and you just plug in the numbers, and whoop, there it is, and you just send it to the title company. Okay? Ordering loan docs, all that kind of stuff, you're gonna, you'll learn that. You'll get the owner finance calculator. Okay, so we also are gonna offer coaching. Some of you can go through the course and shouldn't have a problem at all. It depends on your knowledge base. I tried to make it where you could just do the course. I really did, but there are going to be reasons you might want to coach. Every professional athlete I know has a coach, right, that's done it. Why would they have a coach if they're naturally talented? Somebody help me with that. Why would they have a coach?
Nobody's good at everything.
Nobody's good at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting there quicker, maybe. They can see things that you can't see, right? So they're also good motivators. They'll keep you on track. Because sometimes if you go self-paced, all right, I saw this with my kids in 2020 with COVID. They go home and they did their own work at their own pace, and they were behind all the time, unless they were self-motivated, okay, to get in there and do the work. Because you need to watch the videos. You have to watch the videos to understand. But if you're not motivated enough, you may need a motivator, okay? So we do have coaching. The 6-month is, yes, sir.
Question, can that be added post-sale, like, let's say someone wants to get a course?
Yes.
Or whatever the case may be, but they realize that they may want to get coaching later. Is there a way?
You absolutely can. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Because if you can do it by yourself, do it. It's fantastic. And I think most people can, but there may be times that you do need help. So yes, you most certainly can. The $15,000 for coaching, all these include the course, but the $15,000 for coaching is a 12-month deal. So I'll work with you for 12 months, but it's also a deal guarantee. We're going to make sure you get to the finish line. Okay, we're going to make sure you do it. All right. So those are weekly calls on the 7,000. That one is 2 calls per month. All right, you email questions, whatever you need to do. So.